Hello again. Sorry for being late, and I apologize already for my bad English, which is even worse now because I'm sick. So I'm really sorry also to all of you and to people are next to me. So thank you for understanding. And so thanks for our hosts, Bernard, Caroline, Vincent, and all the team of Arti Party, Sonar, and Beaux-Arts. And just to say, I'm Caroline, was supposed to make a little contextualization also, but we can go back after a minute on the question, etc. But just our topic tonight is it's also the umbrella was narration of migrations, which is something that put us at work since 3 p.m. Today for some of us, because we had already a session, but more private session of working and exchanging. And of course, because this the notion of narration of migrations in plural can't be solved in 1 hour, because we have only...
We don't have any sound from the monitor.
You don't see
the air, yes, so the sound.
We have some professional Si je parle fort, mais tu parles.
No.
Okay. So, this big thing of narration of migrations can't be solved in 1 hour, so it was good to have time also before and we can share with you. We can share with you some of the things we discussed, but also because for me it's important to put this big title because I think this theme of narration of migration shows that our topic tonight is not only as it is called, that is to say hospitality and solidarity of the art scene, but it's more a question of responsibility of the art scene, responsibility and coherence of the art scene to be in a specific relation with not only the big topic of migration and not only with the migrants, the identity pre-South, but it is a responsibility and a coherency of art to be in relation with the multiplicity of migrations and the multiplicity of subjectivity that it includes. And this multiplicity is what is confectioning nowadays our reality, our present, and our experimental. So if living art, that is things that you are all doing or that relate us, put us in connection because you practice art or because you defend art, and particularly living art, if living art doesn't pay attention to what makes the quality of our lives and what it is doing art, if experimental art, if an art that is proposing experiments, and you said it a bit before, I don't know your name, but you pointed the thing. Like if we don't propose experiment and a twist of representation in order to replace representation by putting in co-presences, differences, and multiplicities, and creating the conditions of proximities, what are we doing also here as an experimental stage for music? Like this is why I spoke about the responsibility and coherence of art to be dealing with multiplicity of migrations and the transformation we can do of the pictures that are put on this topic. And I think this is a question and a coherence and a fight that are gathering these different people who are at the chance next to me, as I said before, and that makes that they are really coherent with being artists or with working with in art structure, and they are not only journalists, and they are not following this mono identity and this mono topic of the migration. They are not following this monoculture that is also destroying our souls in the planet today, and not the mono-vision that is making all of us a bit blind, or that are punishing the people who refuse to be blind. And I spoke about it before, this Mayor of Priaché, for example, people who continue to watch and to look at people are condemned nowadays in Europe. So how can we do also as artists and as an artistic structure to promote this élargissement, enlargement of the vision. Yeah, this is a question that we can discuss tonight, and the people who I have here to discuss it are, as I said, practicing art, different kind of art, because they are all different, all of us. So one of the art practice that is around this table, which is not a table, but two tables, it's Milady, who is a poet, and she's an involved poet, and she's working a lot with a collective here in Bruxelles, which is called Voix des Sans-Papiers, and we have the chance to have the porte-parole, the speaker, the spokesperson of La Voix des Sans-Papiers, who is Modo Ndiaye, here with us. The other artistic practice that we have here is music, with you, Suleiman, and also Sheikhu Bar, who is somewhere, and who will also share with us his practice at the end of our discussion. And also theater, who is Judith, who is a director, and she is a director of theater, but also the directrice of structure in Paris, which is called Atelier des Artistes en Exil, and she will present us what they are doing, because it's a wonderful example of things that are functioning in very different aspects of accompanying trajectory of migrant persons who are not only, as I said, an identity, but are actors. So it's possibility to consider person in what they do, and not only what you are doing of them, which is a big difference. So yeah, you will explain us, but it's very important. And we also have here people who are not directly artists, or I don't think you are Anne, but you are working with or defending artists. I also don't know that if you are artist Modu, but you are very often collaborating with artistic structure. But Anne, she is directing a structure here in Brussels, which is called Globa Roma, who has some similar points with Atelier d'Artistes en Exil, but you will also present us your activities. And I think what is also added to the fact that you are connected with art, there is also something that is common in between all of you. It's a possibility to inscribe differently narratives of these multiple trajectories of migration. And when I say to inscribe, it's not only to tell the story, it's also to open spaces for showing forms, different ways to express it, which can be visual, which can be sonorous, which are many, and this possibility to inscribe and create a memory of what is always erased, of the national histories of our country in Europe is also something super important. And because this is what is at the middle of our group, the artistic practice and the inscription, we wanted that it's not only something we speak about, but also something that we do. So that's why we decided to start with an artistic proposition of Milady. We read a text in French and here in English for the people who don't speak English, French, who speak English and not French. And we will also end the panel, as I said, with a musical moment with Sheikhu. But you also have to know that you can continue this artistic experiment with me, because she's performing in the festival Saturday, if I'm right? Tomorrow is Friday. So you can, I strongly recommend to go to see her, and you will tell us a bit about your practice. Yes. And maybe I let the mic to Milady now, and we continue.
Donc moi je suis poétesse. Alors des poètes il y en a. Il y a des bouffons droits, il y a des poètes nationaux, il y a des libéraux, il y a des contemplatifs, il y a des engagés. Mais en fait, à quoi ça sert la poésie? Alors ce texte n'est certainement pas une réponse. Là, au milieu des décombres et des déclins, je me parle et je m'invective. À quoi ça leur sert, hein? Cette fameuse qualité de regard que tu entretiens à force d'expériences uniques en leur genre, à force d'aller, de retour et de détour et de spirale, de jouant le réel. Bref, ton truc de la poésie, là, c'est quand même pas une armure en Kevlar. Ça ne te décolle pas du sol quand une mine antipersonnelle pète à la gueule d'un ado génico. Ça ne défie pas sa trajectoire, les roquettes Hydra 70 tirées d'un lanceur M262 à 19 tubes. Si tu es à la fois poète et à la fois cible mouvante, ben tu vas le sentir bien éparpillé ton thorax. Tout thorax de poète qu'il soit, il ne sera pas converti en paillettes ou en étoiles. La poésie, ça ne protège pas tes organes vitaux sous un char à chenilles. Enfin, pas vraiment, pas correctement, disons-le franchement. Si la machette atterrit jusqu'à tes os, t'en prendras plein la chair. Et ces mots que tu auras passé des années, des mois à pétrir, à tisser, à concevoir, avec ton esprit bien libre, bien émancipé du quotidien, des mots à signifier le monde de ta verbalité bien frappée, ces mots-là ne te cuirasseront pas. Ils ne feront pas bardage contre les violences systémiques. Allez, en plus, si tu es un poète arabe, ou noir, ou rom, ou musulman, ou une poétesse femme, poétesse lesbienne, poétesse voilée ou poétesse trans, enfin un peu de tout ça. Bref, si t'es un de ces trucs-là, bah c'est encore plus cher, double peine même. Même que ces mots qui disent tant de toi, tes oppresseurs vont les retourner contre toi, d'outils à armes. Mais ok, tu doutes, t'es un artiste, tu doutes. Tu doutes, bah oui, tu doutes, tu es sûr, bien sûr que tes mots ne servent pas à rien, hein. Ils te font gagner en karma poétique, en dharma éthique. Tes poèmes ne donnent pas de papier ni aux exilés, ni aux déplacés, ni aux tabassés, ni aux déportés. Ça ne fait pas pailler les grilles des centres fermés, ni couper la chic à la peste brune de l'Office des étrangers. Tu crois que Franken et Bolsonaro équiffent Verlaine et Rimbaud? Tous les mots bien organisés dans ta langue et dans ta gorge ne soignent ni les syndromes d'Ulysse, ni les saccages invisibles. Tous les mots bien notés entre tes tempes ne ressuscitent pas les noyés flottant près des coques de chalutiers entre la Libye et l'Italie. Ils ne rendent pas non plus les corps des victimes d'assassinats d'État à leurs familles. Ils ne referont pas chanter Sémira Guillerette et ne ramèneront pas Maouda sur sa trottinette. Ça peut quoi en fait la poésie? Tu sais dire, tu sais argumenter. Ta verve, face à la question du racisme institutionnel, face à la question de la politique productiviste, libérale, coloniale, anale, face à la segmentation nord-sud, face au déclassement des terres et des corps, face aux daubes des bourses et des banques dit. Ton chant et ton poème, est-ce que ça augmente la photosynthèse ou ça facilite la parthénogénèse? Bien entendu, il y a des gens qui adorent quand tu récites l'herbe, le ciel, le ravin, le sel, l'arbre. Ce chant lexical de la fresque contemplative qui crée un grand corps égrégore de tous tes rêves. Ça fait vibrer la glotte, la trachée, énarme, bordel d'âme. Mieux encore, si on saupoudre la béchamel de poèmes, de petits bouts de langue d'ailleurs, langue venue d'intime de ces fameux autres que toi. Tu sais, toi qui es si sensible à la rencontre, l'écho dans ton poème qui souffle l'arabe, les gouches, le wolof, le farsi, le mine, le haka, le poulard, l'amérique. Ça sent l'universel. Heal the world, make it a better place. Poète, humain, trop humain, humaniste, universaliste, ta poésie n'a pas à être ni utile ni belle, finalement tu veux du beau et du vivant et de l'aimant, tu es poète. Allez, ok, laisse tomber. Personne t'empêche de croire que c'est à coup de métrique, de scansion, de rimes qu'on va déposer les machettes à Bukavu et qu'on va délivrer les corps des charniers de Srebrenica. Mets-toi ta poésie bien dans l'œil, dans le cul même si tu veux. Cul bien sûr que tu vas renommer ce petit trou de verdure au bout d'une rivière. Allez vas-y, toi, moi, poète, poétesse, je te parle, je me parle, on se parle. Allons sur le défi avec de la poésie. On peut essayer, ça coûte rien.
Sharing, which is always surprising for me because at the same time it's very critical against poetry, but you are still a poet. and you are still fighting a lot, and you are combining these two things. So maybe it's important to hear this and to distinguish what we can do with art, but still, like, what is it that you continue? You're trying to maintain these two things, and you continue doing this, and you continue fighting with what is on papier, and you continue having an amazing practice of citizen journalism, journalisme citoyen every day. So, are you totally schizophrenic all the time, or is just a balance that you found precisely by doing it, but at the same time keeping your autocritique in it?
It's a long question, and then the answer is already in there actually, but in combining, mixing, making it together is the same energy, except that I have the privilege to have papers, to have the possibility to open my mouth. I have a big mouth, but I'm happy to open it. So it's easy for me. I was educated in a Parisian suburbs, and all of my friends were non-white people. So it was easy for me to actually speak in front of the police, in front of the teachers, in the streets, or in any situation. Really is the same for me. Speaking out, because my friends are there under circumstances that are not logical, are not ethical. So this text is a question that I should try, and I'm trying to keep alive. So it's a question of how to keep alive inside this very necrogenic and destructive, not world, but circumstances. The world is something different, but the reality is there. So really combining is being alive together with the people who are being killed actually by systems. So it's logical for me to be there. We should all be just in this logic really, just to try to see how many people can survive the most. So art is one way. Maybe if I was in another country, I would kill some people. I don't know.
Okay, thank you. But it makes me think also of the combination that someone like Judith can do also in her own artistic practice and the work you do as directress of the Artist of Exile. Because I saw a piece of you a long time ago. The atelier was not existing at that time, and I remember that the occupation you have also as an artist are quite close to the one you keep by doing what you do, and I'm interested that you can also share with people how you arrive also to, like, is it a coherence for you in your own trajectory, or is something that at the moment you just think that you have to do? I think I again answer the question by asking it, but maybe tell us in your own words.
I think it's like an evidence, so I don't know, you wake up one morning and you have to do that. I think I'm not thinking about that, but when I opened the Agency of Artists in Exile, it's an association, not-profit association in Paris. I was thinking how I can continue my work as an artist and to work as a director of this new association. And always as a theatrical director, I work with the testimonies of people and with archives. So I decide to take interview of the artists on exile, and I did that during 4 years. So now I'm stopped. I have like 28 interviews, and I follow always the same schedule. I mean, I always ask the same questions. So when you decide to leave your country, and what you did to left your country. It's the beginning of the interview, and after the artist can answer what he wants. He cannot explain why, but for me it's very important to how he can remember this precise moment when he decided. And because for me it's the point of the tragedy of the exile. So when you understand, you cannot more live in your country, and you have to let everything. And with that, I did 4 shows, and they called I passe, je passe in French, and I will present them again in March in Maison des Métallos in Paris. And it's not in a normal stage, it can be in the room. And we transmit only this storytelling. And at the end, it's seven stories. You can hear 7 stories at the same time, but you are near to one story. So you do a zoom with your, only you, but around there is a lot of. And at the end, you can see on the video the artist with a gift for the public. So it was for me, maybe an answer to combine my work as an artist and as the director of this association, to be near and to do something artistic too with that, because I need to do that. I am an artist, so I have to continue my work too. And I think as an artist I can help in other ways than maybe other people, because I try always to remember how I began when I was young, and how it was hard to understand. And I wanted very after some support and some help, but in France, maybe in Belgium it's the same. You should know how it's going on. You should know how it's works, but you don't know. You don't know nothing. And always you play, okay, I know, I will do, okay, I know, I will continue like that. So I try to help the artist in exile in this way.
And can you tell us a bit more about how you help them in the structure?
Yes. So, as I said, the Agency of Artists in Exile is based in Paris, and it's dedicated to identify and providing support to artists in exile of all origins and all disciplines in France. It provides an individual counseling to over, now with an artist, over 300 artists, based on their artistic and social needs, and connect them with the French and international cultural professionals. It aims to raise the awareness of policy makers, NGOs of the social field, and the general public on the topic of exile and migration. To do so, the agency organized an early multidisciplinary festival called Vision of Exile to showcase the works of its members. The 4th edition, entitled From One Lockdown to Another One, reflected on the familiar feeling of isolation and disconnection felt by artists in exile during the lockdown enforced in March 2020. The Agency of Artists in Exile also organized cultural outreach workshops conducted by artists in exile, targeting school children and socially marginalized groups, such as unaccompanied minors or newly arrived immigrants, initially operating in the greater Paris area. But the agency has just opened a branch in Marseille and has ongoing plan to open a new branch in Lyon.
Thank you. Many more details to give, but I stop here for the first tour of speeches, but because also you said things that are connecting me to Modou. But I don't know how I do now, because Modou doesn't speak English, or maybe as me, but he has the right to say it more than I do. So, peut-être je te demande en français et si tu serais. Est-ce que les gens ne comprennent pas le français? Mais. Ouais, tu dis, tu m'aides pour oui. Parce que c'est pas la peine qu'on rallonge le temps. Merci beaucoup. Du coup, oui, donc, je pensais à différentes choses dans ce qu'a dit Judith. Déjà, tout simplement le mot d'archive, parce qu'il y a aussi plein de travail que vous faites. On m'a pas parlé dans les sessions avant sur la mémoire et la production de ses propres images, de ses propres récits. Et en fait, je pensais que certes, tu n'es pas un artiste, tu ne te qualifies pas de poète, de metteur en scène, en même temps, ce travail incroyable auquel on essaie de s'affairer un peu les unes, les uns et les autres, quand on est dramaturge, dans le cas, ou metteur en scène, ou poète, de tendre les représentations et de rendre visible la part active et d'acteurs et d'actrices que sont aussi les personnes sans papier. C'est quand même une de tes... Ah, t'es sacrément outils. Et en plus, tu fais ça avec une quantité d'outils existent du côté de BSP, dont un, peut-être, tu peux encore nous en parler de ce projet. Il y en a marre, mais aussi de différentes de vos actions qui permettent en fait de justement changer. Je pense à la question de cette personne qui justement demande comment est-ce qu'on ne s'en tient pas aussi qu'au public artistique sur ce changement de représentation, mais à du public beaucoup plus large, et que la manière dont vous intervenez dans l'espace public, ou dont vous intervenez à des échelles individuelles avec n'importe qui, et pas que des cultureux, ça bouge aussi autrement en fait, ces représentations qui nous plongent dans ces barrières entre nous, les accueillants, et eux, les à accueillir. Donc peut-être si tu veux nous parler un petit peu de votre expérience, votre travail, vos outils, et nous donner un exemple en particulier.
Bonsoir à tous et à toutes. Déjà merci pour l'invitation. Je m'appelle Moutou, porte-parole d'un collectif de sans-papiers qui se nomme la Voix des sans-papiers de Bruxelles et membre de la coordination des sans-papiers de Belgique. Je ne sais pas si je peux me permettre de dire que je suis artiste. Bon, de temps en temps, je me permets d'écrire et de lire souvent des textes sur des scènes dont je suis invité. Donc voilà, en fait, notre collectif existe depuis 2014. C'est un groupe de personnes qui ne sont pas reconnues administrativement ici en Belgique. Depuis des années, quand même, on a essayé de lutter pour avoir des droits qui est quasi compliqué et complexe ici en Belgique. Depuis, je peux dire, 2019-2020, parce qu'entre 2018 et 2020, c'était assez compliqué parce qu'on a eu pas mal de personnes issues de notre public. Quand je parle de public, c'est les personnes en situation irrégulière qui ont été arrêtées, expulsées et parfois même violemment dans le pays d'origine, sans tenir compte des causes de le fait qu'ils ont quitté le pays et venir se réfugier ici dans ce pays. À un moment donné, il y avait eu quand même pas mal de réflexions pour dire, ok, par rapport à cette situation politique chaotique ici en Belgique, qu'est-ce qu'on peut faire pour sortir de cette situation? Et il y a pas mal de personnes sans papier et des amis soutiens qui sont réunis, réfléchir ensemble pour essayer de voir comment on peut sortir de cette situation. Et par rapport à ça, on a mis en place un projet qui s'appelle Y'en a marre. En fait, Y'en a marre juste parce qu'on en avait marre de la situation, on en avait marre d'être exploité, on en avait marre d'être représenté autrement que ce que nous sommes, on en avait marre en fait tout simplement de la vie qu'on nous poussait à faire et pas de notre choix de vie. Quand je mets un peu le lien entre notre méthode de vie et par rapport au milieu artistique, je peux dire quand même ces dernières années, il y a pas mal de choses qui ont changé. Parce qu'au début, je peux dire qu'on était une matière des artistes. Parce qu'on avait pensé que par rapport à le fait qu'on acceptait d'être utilisé, il y avait moins qu'on puisse voir le soleil, il y avait moins qu'on puisse sensibiliser, mobiliser les citoyens pour qu'ils puissent plaider à notre faveur. Mais malheureusement, on a remarqué à un moment donné on était utilisés, on était pressés, je peux dire, jusqu'à qu'il y a eu des réflexions, que les personnes concernées puissent se conscientiser des situations et se dire, ok, on ne veut plus continuer dans cette situation, on a le droit de choisir si on doit participer à un projet ou pas, et que ça ne doit plus être un projet où c'est des personnes de l'extérieur qui ne comprennent pas, qui n'essaient pas de comprendre la situation de la personne qui est là, mais ce qu'ils ont, je peux dire, un cahier de charge, ou bien ils ont un besoin, soi-disant académique ou bien artistique, qu'ils sont là et qu'ils doivent remplir, et après partir. Là, je me résume un peu de la situation parce que il y a pas mal de sans-papiers artistes ou bien sans-papiers simples qui peuvent actuellement dire oui, ce projet m'intéresse parce qu'il y a un côté positif, ou bien ce projet ne m'intéresse pas. Et ils ne se sentent plus gênés ou bien complexés de dire oui ou non à la personne qui est devant eux. Parce qu'on a toujours ce problème de complexité avec la personne étrangère du pays ou bien la personne européenne qui est en face de nous. Parce qu'on n'arrive pas jusqu'à présent à faire tomber les masques. On a l'impression qu'on est toujours dans cette question de colonialisme, je peux dire, qui est là, le fait que la personne n'ose même pas s'exprimer ou bien ne pense même pas avoir le droit de dire les choses de la manière dont elle le pense, de la manière dont elle a envie que ça se passe. Donc par rapport à notre projet, nous, ce qu'on a mis en marche, c'est essayer déjà que les personnes concernées puissent se conscientiser, puissent s'approprier de leur propre histoire, de leur propre récit, qu'ils soient vraiment le moteur de leur récit, pas qu'une tierce personne puisse venir sur place et vouloir en même temps dire ok, je peux aider, mais avec les propres conditions. Donc nous, ce qu'on fait, c'est essayer de former des personnes, bénévoles, citoyens, qui ont envie de soutenir, mais à notre manière, à notre façon de faire, pour qu'on puisse construire ensemble, ce vivre ensemble dont on parle tant, et cette question aussi de convergence de lutte, donc qui partout est constante juste à un tiers, parce qu'il reste beaucoup à faire. Donc pour moi personnellement, qui a pas mal fréquenté le milieu culturel, je me dis qu'il y a une grande partie concernant cette question d'intégration qu'on parle ici en Europe, que le milieu artistique a sa place. Parce que c'est un milieu où on peut apprendre pas mal de choses. C'est un milieu où, si on donne à tout chacune sa place, il y a moyen de faire des échanges. Parce que rien que chaque pays a ses propres cultures, a ses propres coutumes. Et ces échanges, c'est des échanges qui sont assez riches. Et ça peut être exploité pour que ça puisse être un win-win. Mais si c'est juste d'un côté où la personne, je peux dire, qui est privilégiée, se sent mieux et que l'autre personne qui est administrativement exclue et abandonnée par l'administration ne reçoit rien en retour, là c'est de l'exploitation de l'être humain. Et depuis quelque temps, on a essayé de travailler un peu avec pas mal d'artistes pour essayer de mettre en place, conscientiser un peu les artistes, je peux dire une charte, pour que aussi les personnes sans papier, les personnes exilées, les personnes migrantes, artistes et autres, puissent avoir aussi leur place sur ce champ. Donc voilà, je me prête à vous.
Merci Maudou. J'ai vu ça. C'était limpide. Non, mais tu as dit beaucoup de choses, et puis j'ai vu Mime et Anne hocher de la tête, donc je vais leur donner la parole aussi, mais juste pour relever ce que tu dis sur ces questions de l'intégration. En fait, ce que tu nous rappelles, c'est que c'est de manière une fausse question, que l'enjeu, c'est pas d'intégrer et d'absorber à une place qu'on a déjà prévue pour la personne, mais sans elle où elle doit être, mais c'est faire avec, et c'est laisser la possibilité à chacun d'être à sa place, et non pas être à sa place de Congolais, Syriens, ou juste à sa place de chanteur ou de poète, ou de reconnaître les personnes, encore une fois, là où elles sont actrices. Et cette possibilité de repartir à un niveau égal, en fait, il démarre en amont même de nos scènes artistiques. On a beaucoup échangé précédemment sur la question justement des écoles, et des écoles d'art et des formations. Comment est-ce que dès le début, on crée les conditions pour qu'il y ait un départ commun, et qu'il n'y ait pas forcément trop cette distinction entre l'étudiant invité et les autres, mais qu'il y ait peut-être un moment d'adaptation ou d'équivalence qui permettrait qu'après, voilà, c'est des étudiants ensemble, et c'est des chansons sans nier la différence de démarrage. Comment est-ce qu'on en tient compte, non pas comme une impossibilité insurmontable, mais comme une possibilité réduite du début qui peut se travailler pour créer autre chose. Sorry, thank you, Judith. But no, I was speaking a bit about art school and school art. Art school and school art. No, the possibility of education also to play a role in this recognition of people in exile as artists and not only as nationality representative. And I think it's, in what I read and saw of what you do, I think it's one of the things you defend, because you don't promote yourself only by your identity, by what you create. And of course it is made of all what you come from, but it is beauty of the mixity of sharing it here, and also collaborating with artistic structure here in order to create this encounter. So maybe you can tell us a bit how you are positioning yourself, you know.
Hi, good evening everybody. Nice to meet you all. My name is Ming Suleiman and I am a singer-songwriter originally from Zanzibar. I was raised in Zanzibar where Freddie Mercury was born. I spent most of my schooling there, and then I went to the UK when I was an older teenager. I ain't telling the age. I was about 15, 16, something like that. And so I've been there now for over 30 years. However, I'm still a Swahili girl. So I came to the UK because of the corruption. It wasn't because at that time my mom was living in the UK. But it's not because, oh, we're coming to get my daughter to come here now. It was the corruption of the local education. And that's what I want to focus on. Because they would just steal your number and give it to somebody else. Somebody else passes the exams and you fail. And that's how I ended up in the UK. However, thank you, I say to them, because I wouldn't be the person I am today. What was bothering me when I did arrive in the UK was I didn't speak English, so Swahili was my language. I was very disappointed with the education as I went on with education back home, because it was a British colony. Although the Arabs from Oman were colonizing us, but they were controlled by the British. Commonwealth Games, I've presented in Buckingham Palace as a Tanzanian. I've been everywhere with that. What makes me laugh is like, so they're still following the procedures of the British colony. So in the primary school, you study Swahili. English is just like a foreign language. English grammar, whatever. You go to secondary school and then it's biology, chemistry, physics, geography. Everything is in English. You can't even say my name is. So you're just there to just get these people to fail. And whoever studies is going to fail because they don't understand it. They're going to like, some of us just don't. Or the notes, we answer it, we pass. You don't understand anything. Yes, it was corruption that got me here, but I'm happy that I went to the UK and I was able to learn, relearn. It took me a while. Now, I didn't become a singer-songwriter until the age of 30. I was teaching at Birmingham University, materials engineering. I used to be a metallurgist. And then one day I went to a festival and I was like, hey, hello. I think I belong to the wrong group. So I left. And when I told my family that I've quit engineering, then I'm going to go for music, they thought I was absolutely crazy. Because nobody's ever heard me sing well. Singing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star is not it, is it? Never heard me play or sing, neither have I. So I just quit my job just like that. And I told everybody I was going to sing. But what encouraged me then was, I'm a well-traveled person. Even then, I'm even more traveled now because of the music. But I chose to sing in my native tongue and write my native tongue in order to promote that place of education, in order to say to them, why? I mean, that's not the only thing. Like in Zanzibar, 98% Muslims. Quran is in Arabic. Nobody can speak Arabic there. So basically, we're raising people with no education. They can't think for themselves. You can't question anything. You question anything, you get disowned or caned or whatever. We got caned a lot. So yeah, so the reason I started Swahili was because I wanted to make sure the map is there and to hopefully raise the confidence of most, because they just think. They can't think because they're not allowed to think. And majority, I like that, sorry to say. Any questions you'd like to ask me? There's a lot to say.
Thank you, because it's very interesting, this twist, because it's a language in which you didn't grow up, but it's a language that you took now in order to defend it, which is not only to maintain a memory, it's to recreate a memory, like an anti-archive, you know, which is it's wonderful.
Yeah, you must understand what you say, and you must understand what you write. You must understand when you finish the form. Still people can't fill up form. Interviews make a big deal. You know, you get people going and they lecture at university and they ask a stupid question like, what does this mean? Google it. These days you can Google anything. They can't think. So we need to work on that. Thank you for listening.
Thanks a lot for sharing. Voilà. Thank you. Maybe Anne, sorry, it's too much. We are many and we have little time, so I do this one-to-one. Anne, I do it in English, I think you are also more comfortable. But no, I also saw you doing this with Modu and meme speeches, and maybe it's also something that you defend a lot in Global Roma, because it's also a place for welcoming artists in exile, but I think you will tell by yourself, but I was interested that we ended with meme just before, because I think this possibility to let the space for artists to express in the way they want and to initiate project and not only be, as Modu said, the object of the artistic project of the others. Like, it's something that you really defend, and maybe you can tell us how you proceed in this space.
Thank you, and also thank you for all the other people in the band, because I think every témoignage is resonating, like from your perspective, from artists in exile. I think Roma is really much related to it, and also what you said about your linguistic approach, and also how an artistic trajectory can appear suddenly, and how we think of a normative way of becoming an artist or not. I find it's interesting how you develop artistic practices, and also Modu, what you were saying about the instrumentalization of people and via the arts also often is something we definitely need to and try to work around and with in Global Roma, but definitely also look very critically to what is happening in and around the organization, and also your position as an activist and a poet, maybe also is something that sometimes is a schizophrenic, how you use that word now, position. So yeah, everything was resonating. To Global Roma, thank you for the invitation to Global Roma. Maybe to say something, the last couple of weeks or months, or maybe years, Global Roma is mainly invited in panels to talk about the organization and about how it functions. But then it's mainly in debates and panels in festivals. But then if you look to the artists who are invited in these festivals, you hardly see any artists that are developing their practices in Global Roma. So that's a bit difficult element, and we're working really hard on this transition. By having this receiving this invitation, of course, we always are very happy as an organization. But then, since I knew that also Moto from La Voix des Sans-Papiers or other artists were like Wim are present, it's really important. And before every invitation, sorry for the long introduction, but we always try to figure out who from the organization is available, but also who should be the porte-parole, the spokesperson, because it feels sometimes really weird to who has the agency to speak. But because today the question was also really on an organizational level, how do you work with care and solidarity in an organization or in the arts field? We thought, okay, it makes sense that it's also someone from the arts organization as a structure that is here. So to give this introduction, and then Global Roma, all very welcome. We are in the city center of Brussels. Very easy to reach, and it's an artistic work and meeting space actually, where artists, makers, co-makers, and art lovers, art enthusiasts are, and all of them with a background as a newcomer are welcome to or hosted to develop artistic practices. Sometimes the question is raised, why do we need a space like Global Roma? It already exists for 20 years. Let's consider the arts field still as sometimes a hostile environment. For instance, a lot of the artists that come to Global Roma experience difficulties in connecting to the arts field. Like I said earlier, we are invited as an organization in a panel, but not the artists with their practice. And sometimes it is also due to their status of citizenship. Venues are not always comfortable or don't have the expertise how to pay artists in a regular way, or what are ways to communicate or host people. So that's mainly a big part of our work is working around the bureaucratic obstacles the complexities that sometimes come with citizen statuses and how they are hosted. Within the space we offer, of course, like artistes en exil, an art space where people come to develop their arts practices, and the main purpose is really to create like a cosmos. We call it the cosmos of globe, with alliances within the arts field that really can create like other possibilities. I spoke too much today, so maybe if I blah blah blah, that's sorry for that. Global Roma is actually a place in between a big development of an arts field in Brussels. So the cosmos, our alliances with other actors in the arts field is really important. We are a very small organization. We don't have a scene or a very lo-fi scene, so we do need other arts venues for presentation contexts, and also to financially support the development of artistic practices of the artists that come to Global Roma. And apart from the development of individual or collective arts practices, we also set up more co-creational contexts, so not everybody sees him or herself or themselves as an artist, but is a maker in a more collective situation, and there more collective projects are set up, and I think there we definitely made a huge transition within the 20 years that Global Roma exists. Let's say 5 years ago, an artist, people would say an external artist would have been invited. See, mainly a white male cis man with an established practice within Brussels would be invited to work with a group. I'm putting it a bit like this, but and we are really trying to transit, which I don't say that all white cis male artists are to be put in a corner, but we are really working from a different perspective and work from the community and what is living in a community and what are the needs of a community of makers, and really that the community itself creates the topics and that the community itself creates the projects they need, and we as an organization support with whatever needs need to be accommodated. So I don't know if my English explains it really well, but it starts to make the bridge with what it starts to make the bridge with what Modu was saying about being invited in artistic projects and how agency and authorship really can work.
Is Olympics in England, 20-something, 1912, 2012, that's it. And we got a band, we got asked to present East Africa. So it was a musician from Uganda, musician from Kenya, musician from Rwanda, and a musician from Tanzania. And one of the musicians we had to get from Kenya, Uganda, he's passed away now, rest in peace. But he's been here, he's performed in England so many times. Got him the ticket, everything, when you apply for a visa, you have to have everything. They refused it, so we had to do the whole procedure again and lost all that money just for 2 days. And that's not the first artist that some of them just don't make it. Colombia, Sri Lanka, it doesn't make, and majority of these places, I'm not saying that I'm from Belgium, but UK, and they were supposed to be like Commonwealth. That's my case. And it was awful. They never made it. They never made it. Very few made it. Some, we have to actually rearrange everything for us because we rely on their skills and everything else. We were confident about it. And it's not cheap. It's like 3,000. You have to do it all over again. They're not very nice. So those kind of things is to stop.
And do you think it's because of a lack of expertise of the arts field also to know how to deal with these kind of topics? Like, because I think recently the arts sector is like...
I don't think, okay, well the artists do need to take control of themselves. But like I said, if you don't know how to get there with knowledge, you can't. You think everything is scary. I know musicians who plays very high standards. They can hardly read. They can hardly sign their names. And that's what I'm talking about. The musicians that you may find, okay, amazing, but that's all they have done. There's no school. There's no writing. They're learning how to write. So everything is such a challenge. And then there's this computer and the new technology now. But yeah, I mean, arts have to, but I think also what I find is back home, they don't value art as much as we do. Like they really underestimate the value of art. And I'm talking from my experience. I got this song for today. Right? I was like, you're nothing, I had to earn that. For 20 years now I've been working as a musician. Now they're starting to understand it. But even then, I think it's because it's very misplaced. The value of it is very, if you're not academically like doctor, lawyer, teacher, you know, the rest is wishy-washy. Art, down. So they need to, I mean, it's nice for us to embrace everybody else's art, but if they don't embrace their own art, what chance do we got? If the people who we're trying to encourage are not even understanding, their own people don't understand what they are, then what chance have we got to tell? I've always questioned that.
Judith, tu avais l'air de vouloir dire quelque chose et
I think it's another discussion because in France and in Belgium too, you can have the same. So for all the people to be an artist is some kind of like nobody understands what is it. And they can ask if you're dead. You receive money because you're an artist. Wow, it's wonderful. No, I mean we have some kind of very naive reaction, so I think it's always like that. It's connected, it's related with the artistic reaction, I think. There is a lot of people they don't understand. They don't understand it's a work. You have to work, you have to
There's work and there's valuing there's work and there's valuing the art. And I don't think they actually value the art. That will earn me money. You can say it's valuing where that art is, because it doesn't get taught at school. It's not something that exists there. It will exist in special school to people who don't read. Somebody will come from another country and take these guys who do somersaults and a few drummings, but it's not taught. It's like, I've been doing film for the last 7 years about documenting the arts and the women who are in arts in East Africa. We don't know our ancestors' heritage of that. There is plenty. Amazing, but they wouldn't value their education and take it to school. So I think it's that kind of, it's not undervalued like it's a job. Full stop. Arts. You paint. That's art. So they don't, it's not because they just don't know it. Don't know it, they have it within them, but they've never been valued it, so they just it's just happened on TV.
because we try precisely to value art, and maybe the best way is not only to speak about it, but to do it, as we said before, not only to speak about art, but to do it. And because it's also what Anne said, like why we always invite the representative of people who work with artists in exile, but not them. We wanted to be a bit more this, so we invited also another members of Voix des Sans-Papiers, who is Shekou, who is here, and who wanted to, he's going to share the conversation with us, it's just to share with us a moment of music. So it's another guest of us, and je l'ai dit, qu'il est membre de l'ESP. Et donc c'est Shekou et bassiste. Et ensuite on pourra prendre des questions aux interventions. Désolé, le temps est vraiment été resserré, mais c'était important pour nous de varier les langues.
Bonsoir tout le monde. Je m'appelle Shekou. Je suis réfugié politique mauritanien. Je suis là en Belgique, demandeur d'asile. Donc tout le monde sait qu'en Mauritanie, il y a beaucoup de problèmes là-bas, entre les Arabes berbères et les négro-africains mauritaniens. Donc on n'arrive pas à se trouver vraiment nos droits en Mauritanie. On est trop coincés à cause de politique en Mauritanie. Ça veut dire qu'ils nous disent d'aller ils sont dans les écoles anglais, dans les écoles françaises, pour aller vers l'aventure, pour aller vers l'avant, pour le développement du pays. Et eux, il faut que nous, on se rééquilibre tout le temps derrière, comme ça, eux, ils dirigent le pays. Donc, c'est un système de racisme, injustice, il y a beaucoup de choses qui se passent là-bas. Et les Noirs africains n'arrivent pas à faire des recensements en Mauritanie à cause du système politique qui est là-bas. Et beaucoup de gens qui apprennent et qui font toute leur vie les éthiques, finalement, ils se retrouvent à aller faire gardinage, ou bien aller faire autre chose, marcher ambulant, ou bien vendre dans le marché. Et on n'arrive pas à avoir notre place dans notre propre pays. Donc, et j'ai remercié aussi Modou, la voix de sans-papier. J'ai été accueilli par les gens de l'UFC, moi et ma famille. Je les remercie très fort. Ce soir, je suis avec un ami saxophoniste qui s'appelle Baptiste. C'est un saxophoniste français et qui m'accompagne souvent. Il joue aussi avec mon grand frère aussi, qui est là du bas. Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup, Chékou. Comme pour nous tous, c'était que des introductions à ce qu'on fait et ce qu'on était vraiment hyper précieux pour nous d'avoir vos interventions. Merci à Baptiste aussi pour l'accompagnement et merci à BSP de permettre que ça existe. Et c'était une discussion qui avait beaucoup trop de choses à partager avec trop de temps, mais on peut prendre quand même quelques questions. Non, on ne peut pas prendre quelques questions. Et on a encore 5 minutes, t'as dit 9 heures. Oui, 5 minutes. On peut aussi discuter de manière plus informelle sur le chemin du concert ou autour d'un verre ou d'un je sais pas quoi. Mais maybe you wanted to ask something. Judith, Anne, vous vouliez peut-être ajouter quelque chose par rapport à ce que vous avez présenté. Sinon, on continue de manière plus informelle. Je crois que c'est ce à quoi on nous invite. Mais s'il y avait quelque chose d'urgent qui devait être dit. Judith. Bon, vous avez quelque chose à ajouter.
Je dirais plutôt que je suis impressionné quand même par le travail que Judith fait en France. Et je rêve déjà qu'on puisse le reproduire plusieurs fois, avoir plus de Judith ici en Belgique, parce qu'on en a vraiment besoin. Et je pense que elle a semé une graine et ça doit pousser pas uniquement en France, ni en Belgique, mais encore partout en Europe. Donc il faudra quand même cette hospitalité qu'on parle, que ça puisse se voir partout.
Alors merci pour faire cette petite liaison. Alors on a Belgique oblige, Bruxelles oblige, on a déposé notre premier projet européen pour essayer de commencer à faire un peu quelque chose dans d'autres pays, au Portugal, à Chypre, en Italie. Et puis on va voir, effectivement, c'est un peu aussi notre rêve de continuer à faire d'autres choses ailleurs. Voilà. Et oui, avec plaisir. C'est important de toute façon les artistes. En plus, il y a une chose qui est très importante et d'où l'idée du projet européen, c'est la question de la mobilité. Et ce qui est horrible quand on n'a pas de papier, c'est que mais même le temps de la régularisation, le temps d'avoir ce qu'on appelle son titre de voyage, vous voyez ce passeport qui n'en est pas un mais qui ressemble à un passeport et qui ne donne pas le droit d'aller partout. Et bien ça c'est très très dur pour un artiste, parce qu'un artiste il a besoin de bouger avant toute chose, sinon il a besoin de bouger. Et en fait, nous on a des artistes qui ont mis 4 ans à avoir ne serait-ce que leur accord d'être régularisé, puis encore 1 an pour la carte de séjour, puis encore 1 an pour le titre de voyage. Ça fait beaucoup de temps d'assignation en résidence, et ça c'est une vraie question. Comme la question d'ailleurs des artistes qui ne peuvent pas voyager et à qui on ne donne pas de visa, qui a été évoquée également, c'est aussi une des raisons pour lesquelles ils choisissent les villes, parce que quand ils peuvent sortir, ils disent qu'on en profite, vu que jamais on pourra ressortir. Et ça, je crois que tant qu'on n'assouplira pas ça aussi c'est une vraie question. Pourquoi on ne donne pas le plus le droit aux gens de voyager comme ils veulent et quand ils peuvent? Parce que du coup, les gens ne prendraient pas ce choix parfois. Sur lequel on ne peut pas revenir de quitter à jamais son pays. Alors bien sûr, des fois tu ne peux pas faire autrement parce que c'est au risque de ta vie. Donc tu fuis, tu cours, tu vas comme tu peux. Je pense notamment par exemple à ce qui est en train de se passer à Cancun. On a tous les artistes qui n'ont pas pu fuir, se cachent, changent tous les 3 jours de maison parce qu'il y a un risque vraiment pour leur vie. Mais quand c'est pas aussi simple que ça, quand des fois on pourrait quand même ménager le fait de rester chez soi, même si c'est dangereux, et ben des fois on fait ce choix irrémédiable parce qu'on sait qu'on n'aura pas d'autre occasion. Et ça c'est une vraie question qu'il faut vraiment poser à tous les corps diplomatiques, à tous les réseaux de ministère des Affaires étrangères. Pourquoi c'est si difficile?
Je vois comme ça. Mais il se qu'il y a autant d'inscrits, il n'y a personne. Il y a 80 inscrits, il me dit.
Des frères et sœurs, et
Ah, il y a personne.
qui est aussi dans une action proche, qui est là dans la même envergure et plus petit, dans le petit accompagnement que vous proposez, mais ça existe. Il y a des choses qui quand même existent aussi. Il faut se soutenir les uns les autres, sur des questions de mobilité. Je crois que justement un lieu comme un festival de musique est aussi un lieu qui permet d'adresser ces questions-là. Et enfin, je pense à tous les artistes qui sont bloqués, tout à l'heure je dis à Kaboul, mais aussi dans les îles, dans les prisons et les centres fermés, qui sont des artistes en fait, pas juste des corps enfermés. Donc comment est-ce qu'un moment peut se mobiliser pour la mobilité et pas que pour l'accueil chez nous? C'est des questions. Dans la multiple liste des choses qu'on a adressées depuis 3 heures de l'après-midi à faire, on a un bel agenda et comme le disait Anne-Caroline, les rendez-vous continuent à la fois pour le reste de votre semaine et pour nous ailleurs en janvier ou en Belgique, en France, je cherchais des regards. Donc voilà, c'est des jurés qu'il faut impulser et merci à ceux qui sont dans les localités de permettre qu'il y ait des mouvements qui en échappent. Merci à vous toutes et tous et désolé pour ce temps si resserré. Merci Olaf et à vous.
Merci à toutes et à tous. Effectivement, comme le dit Camille, on vous donne rendez-vous aussi à Paris en janvier, à Lyon en mai pour poursuivre les réflexions. Et puis on vous invite aussi à suivre la carte blanche que nous avons accordée au collectif Bellart. Ça démarre dans 10 minutes en thème arcade 1. Et puis bien sûr, Nuit sonore aussi se poursuit toute la soirée jusqu'à dimanche. Merci encore à tous. Merci à Camille, Louis, d'avoir avec une très belle énergie animé à la fois le workshop cet après-midi et assuré la modération de cet échange. Merci à tous nos invités et à très vite pour la suite.